The moment you stop giving your energy to their chaos is the moment you reclaim your life, your peace, your power, and your self-worth become untouchable, and nothing they do can pull you back into their drama. There comes a moment in life when you realize that the strings they once held over you were never yours to carry, they belonged to them. The narcissist thrives on control, on the subtle siphoning of your energy and identity to feed their own sense of worth. Every demand, every manipulation, every quiet undermining was designed to keep you tethered to their whims. But the moment you step back, even slightly, a shift occurs. Their grip, which once seemed unbreakable, begins to falter. This is not because you have hurt them or exacted revenge. It is because their power only exists where your attention, your compliance, your emotional labor resides. Once you reclaim it, their influence diminishes naturally, almost imperceptibly yet irrevocably. To step back is not to retreat in fear, it is to stand firmly in the reality of your own sovereignty. It is a declaration that your inner world is yours to govern, not theirs to manipulate. In that space, clarity emerges. You begin to see the patterns, the calculated gaslighting, the subtle erosion of self that you endured without full recognition. It is a painful illumination at first, but it is also liberating. The less you bend, the more transparent their strategies become. What once felt like an insurmountable maze of emotional traps now appears as a series of walls you can navigate around, not a prison to endure. Their discomfort is a signal, not a threat. The narcissist reacts violently, subtly, or dramatically when their control wanes. But this reaction is not a reflection of your failure or weakness. It is proof of the autonomy you are reclaiming. Every attempt to draw you back, to provoke guilt or confusion, is merely a reflection of their own instability, a mirror to their dependence on your energy. Recognizing this allows you to maintain distance without guilt, to respond without reactivity, and to preserve the integrity of your emotional and mental space. Stepping back is also an act of profound self-respect. It communicates boundaries that words alone cannot enforce. It cultivates resilience because every moment you maintain your space, you reinforce your authority over your life and choices. This authority is the foundation of genuine power, the kind that does not rely on domination, coercion, or the diminishment of others. Your life becomes a territory in which you are free to grow, heal, and thrive, and their presence, while disruptive, can no longer dictate your trajectory. The transformation is gradual but undeniable. The energy that once fed their ego is redirected toward your growth, your purpose, your self-discovery. What emerges is a deeper understanding of yourself, a resilience forged not in compliance but in conscious withdrawal. The moment you step back, their power wanes, and your life begins to expand into the space that was always rightfully yours. There is an extraordinary power in distance, a force often underestimated by those who seek to control and manipulate. The narcissist feeds on proximity, not simply physical closeness, but the intimate access to your emotions, your energy, and your attention. Every argument they provoke, every expectation they impose, every subtle undermining is designed to tether you to their world. When you consciously create distance, you interrupt the machinery of their control. It is not a withdrawal born of fear or avoidance. It is an assertive act of self-preservation and sovereignty. Distance becomes a weapon, not of aggression, but of clarity, stability, and reclaimed authority. When you step back, the dynamics shift immediately. The familiar tension, the constant expectation to respond, the unending emotional labor, all of it begins to lose its hold. You are no longer available as a resource to be exploited. The narcissist experiences this absence acutely, often with confusion, frustration, or attempts to regain influence. But these reactions are indicators of the power you have quietly reclaimed. Your life is no longer defined by their needs or whims. It is defined by your boundaries, your priorities, and your vision of who you are and who you wish to become. Reclaiming control through distance requires self-discipline and self-awareness. It demands that you resist the pull of old patterns, the instinct to explain, justify, or placate. Each moment you maintain your space reinforces your autonomy and solidifies your authority over your own choices. This is not merely defensive, it is a strategy of growth. With the energy no longer siphoned by manipulation, you can redirect your attention toward meaningful pursuits, self-development, and the cultivation of resilience. Your mind, once clouded by their tactics, become sharp, focused, and free to navigate life on your terms. Distance also illuminates the truth about the relationship. Without the constant interference of their demands, you begin to see patterns clearly. The lies, distortions, and emotional sabotage become unmistakable. This clarity fosters empowerment because knowledge is the cornerstone of freedom. You no longer need to operate in fear, confusion, or compliance. You act from a place of conscious choice, guided by values rather than coercion. The weapon of distance, wielded wisely, dismantles the illusions of control they projected, exposing the fragility of their authority over you. Ultimately, distance is transformative. It allows you to reclaim your energy, your confidence, and your emotional stability. It cultivates self-respect because it signals that your well-being is non-negotiable. It establishes that your life is yours to govern, not theirs to intrude upon. Each step back is a declaration that you are present in your own world, guided by purpose and resilience, and no longer subject to the manipulation that once drained your spirit. The space you create becomes a fertile ground for self-mastery, growth, and the deliberate construction of a life that is unassailable in its independence. There is a profound awakening that occurs the moment you stop performing the role they have scripted for you. Narcissists thrive on illusions, both of themselves and of the world around them, and these illusions depend entirely on your participation. Every compliment you accept, every emotional reaction you give, every compromise you make, feeds the carefully constructed image they present to the world. But the instant you pull away, the carefully maintained facade begins to crack. Their true self, which is fragile, reactive, and dependent on control, emerges from behind the mask, and for the first time, you see them not as they want to be seen, but as they truly are. Pulling away is not passive, it is a deliberate act of perception and strength. It requires courage to step outside the web of manipulation and observe without interference. From this vantage point, the inconsistencies, the contradictions, the hidden motives, all of it becomes visible. The charm that once enthralled you now appears as calculated performance. The moments of affection, the gestures of care, the promises, they are no longer mysterious or confusing. They are tools designed to bind you to an illusion, and your withdrawal exposes that mechanism in full view. This exposure is liberating. When the illusion dissolves, you are free to confront reality as it is, rather than the distorted version you were led to believe. Clarity becomes your ally, and in clarity lies empowerment. You recognize that the instability, the manipulation, and the constant need for validation are not reflections of your inadequacy, but of their dependence on control. Seeing their true self removes the power they held through deception, because power is rooted in perception. The less you are swayed by the illusion, the less influence they wield. There is also a deeper lesson in this process. The awareness of truth sharpens judgment. By pulling away, you cultivate discernment, learning to separate genuine connection from manufactured attachment. Your intuition, once clouded by manipulation, regains its clarity. You understand that self-respect and boundaries are not negotiable, and that emotional autonomy is not optional. Each moment you maintain distance reinforces this understanding, allowing you to interact with the world from a place of authenticity rather than submission. Ultimately, breaking the illusion is not about punishment or revenge. It is about reclaiming your perception, your energy, and your agency. It is about refusing to participate in the narrative that diminishes you. The narcissist's true self is revealed not through confrontation, but through your conscious disengagement. And in that revelation lies freedom. You no longer need to guess, rationalize, or accommodate. You act from knowledge, clarity, and self-sovereignty, and the life that emerges in this space is one of power, authenticity, and the unwavering understanding that reality cannot be distorted when you refuse to be deceived. There is a pivotal moment when fear gives way to freedom, when the subtle chains of manipulation no longer bind your mind or your spirit. Narcissists thrive on fear. They feed on your hesitation, your doubt, and the anxiety that arises from walking on eggshells around them. Every criticism, every accusation, every attempt to provoke guilt is designed to keep you small, compliant, and tethered to their world. But the moment you choose to rise, to move beyond that fear, a profound shift occurs. Their reaction is inevitable. They may escalate, manipulate, or lash out, but it no longer has the power to dictate your inner state or your trajectory. Rising in the face of their reaction is an act of extraordinary courage. It requires acknowledging the discomfort, recognizing the manipulation, and consciously deciding not to participate in the drama. Fear is seductive because it seems immediate, tangible, and urgent, but freedom is deeper and enduring. Each time you resist the pull of panic, guilt, or defensiveness, you reinforce the boundaries that define your autonomy. You reclaim the emotional territory that has been contested, and in doing so, you weaken the hold they once had over your life. Their reaction is not a reflection of your failure or weakness. It is proof that you have stepped outside the patterns they rely on for control. They may attempt to provoke, confuse, or intimidate, but these efforts only reveal the fragility of their power, which exists solely where your energy and attention are available. By rising above fear, you shift the balance. The power that once seemed to reside in their manipulation now resides in your conscious choice to respond from clarity rather than reactivity. You become the architect of your own experience rather than a participant in a narrative designed to diminish you. This process also illuminates a deeper truth. Freedom is not a passive state, but an active pursuit. It demands vigilance, self-awareness, and consistency. Every time you hold your ground, maintain your perspective, and refuse to be drawn back into chaos, you cultivate resilience. Your sense of self strengthens, your confidence solidifies, and your capacity for discernment expands. Fear loses its dominion because it is no longer fed by compliance or emotional surrender. Each act of rising is an affirmation of your sovereignty, a declaration that your life is yours to direct, regardless of the turbulence they attempt to create. Ultimately, moving from fear to freedom transforms the relationship entirely, not by changing them, but by changing you. Their reactions, once terrifying, become indicators of your growing independence. You rise not through confrontation or aggression, but through clarity, self-possession, and unwavering commitment to your own well-being. In this space, fear dissolves, and freedom emerges as the natural consequence of living with integrity, purpose, and unshakable self-respect. The life that unfolds is one of power reclaimed, energy preserved, and the profound understanding that your liberation is complete when you refuse to surrender to their influence. There comes a critical juncture in life when the choice becomes clear: to continue being entangled in their chaos or to prioritize yourself and your well-being. Narcissists thrive on drama, conflict, and emotional turbulence because it draws your attention and energy toward them. Every argument, every manipulation, every provocation is a strategy to keep you off balance, reactive, and focused on their narrative rather than your own growth. Choosing yourself over their drama is not an act of selfishness. It is the ultimate expression of self-love. It is the conscious decision to preserve your energy, protect your boundaries, and honor your own worth above all else. This choice requires courage, because walking away from the cycle often provokes resistance, guilt, or fear. They may attempt to draw you back with charm, threats, or manipulation, but these tactics reveal the fragility of their control. The more you prioritize yourself, the less power they hold. Your attention, once a resource they exploited, is now devoted to your life, your purpose, and your inner stability. Each act of detachment is a reclamation of sovereignty, a declaration that your happiness is not negotiable and your peace is not a currency to be spent at their whim. Choosing yourself also cultivates clarity. The distance created from drama allows you to see the relationship for what it truly is. The patterns of manipulation, the repeated cycles of chaos, and the emotional cost that was previously hidden beneath charm and illusion. This clarity empowers you to make decisions that align with your values and your long-term well-being. You are no longer reacting impulsively to provocation, you are responding intentionally to life on your terms. Self-love in this context is active, not passive. It is the consistent reinforcement of boundaries, the refusal to engage in pointless conflict, and the conscious prioritization of your mental and emotional health. Every decision to step back, every moment you resist the pull of drama strengthens your resilience and self-respect. Over time, this practice builds a foundation of inner strength that cannot be undermined by external chaos. You cultivate a life in which peace, purpose, and authenticity are non-negotiable pillars, impervious to manipulation or coercion. Ultimately, choosing yourself over their drama transforms not only your relationship with them, but your relationship with yourself. You learn that love, respect, and value are earned through self-respect, not through approval from those who seek to control you. Your energy becomes an investment in growth, empowerment, and fulfillment, rather than a resource drained by chaos. The ultimate act of self-love is recognizing that your life is yours to govern, your well-being is paramount, and your peace is sacred. In this choice lies liberation, strength, and the profound realization that prioritizing yourself is not just an option, it is the foundation of freedom and authentic living.